Hello everyone, welcome to yet another amazing session of the Tech Pod with Learnbay. I'm your host Pritesh, and through these amazing Tech Pod sessions, we try to gauge information and insights from industry experts that will help you to understand the importance of data science and AI in various domains. And similarly, our guest for today is Mr. Uday Sharma, who leads the CRM and DigiLocal at Titan. A postgraduate diploma in marketing and a graduate in biotech, Mr. Uday Sharma is with Titan since past 9 years and counting. His journey has been very informative and insightful. So let us understand from Uday Sharma that what is the importance of data science and AI in the marketing domain. So please welcome Mr. Uday Sharma. Hello Uday.
Yeah, hi Pritesh.
How are you?
I'm good, and I'm glad to make use of this opportunity as provided by you to give whatever learnings I've had to put it out on the table, and if this can be of some help to the users around.
Yes, absolutely. Uday, I was just going through your profile and you have had a very amazing and impressive journey. And I think what you guys have been doing at Titan, I mean, it won't be wrong to say it's a home brand. I mean, today, everybody has at least one product from the company in their homes. And it's a very reputed brand. It has maintained its reputation, and over the period of time I think it has diversified a lot. And you being in the marketing team of Titan, I think your insights are going to be very useful for our listeners. So looking forward to an amazing time with you there today. As we begin, Uday, I would first like to know about your journey at Titan. How did it all start? And what exactly do you do in the CRM and DigiLocal?
Sure. So Pritesh, I finished my postgraduate in marketing from TAPI Management almost 10 years back. I'm almost like a dinosaur in Titan. It's been 10 years. So it started way back in 2014. So Titan is Titan company is a part of the Tata group of companies. Right. So and it has a legacy of almost 30 years with it. We started off from just producing watches way back in 1987, and then we diversified our portfolio to jewelry, where Tanishq became the leading jewelry brand in India, and henceforth to eyewear division, and now we have Tanera, which is sarees, apparel. We have fragrances and accessories, where we have skin, where now we have also recently our newest brand that we have launched is Earth, which is bags. And hence, there's a lot of innovation that keeps on happening, that every 3 to 4 years we see what next. And it started from watches some 30 years ago, and now we are dabbling with apparel, we have fashion accessories, jewelry, sunglasses, anything. And this is a process that keeps continue to go on, that what is the next product that consumer durable that we want to tap onto. So I joined Titan in 2014 as a management trainee, and our first year was like, all the fresh MBA pass outs. The objective is to get them a hang of all the divisions, as much functions as possible. So I worked initially with the CSR division, where the whole idea was to go out, throw them into the waters, understand the whole corporate social responsibility as a concept, where we were supposed to go and, the team that, we management trainees, we scaled all the villages and how we can bring about any sort of intervention that would help in improving the life of those community. So there was a lot of programs where we have Titan Kanya programs, we have initiatives which are tied up with other corporates, with Mahindra also, Nanni Kali programs. We had water sanitation program, where my major contribution was, where how do you build a water sanitation program in Uttarakhand villages that would help them sustain 5 years from there. And then I did a little bit of stint with the trade and sales division, where I was looking into the Helios, which is our international watches brand, the trade and the retail market of North India. And finally, I settled into the digital division. And there, at that point in time, I'm talking 2015, Titan is a retail giant. We are, very adept and understand the nitty-gritties of how a retail distribution channel works. We are retail and a marketing company, and we also have a manufacturing units across, Hosur and Pantnagar and Shillong now, where jewelry, watches, eyewear, lenses are manufactured, and from there the whole distribution, happens to all the other retail channels and henceforth. So it started from a digital, my learning started from the digital domain, and luckily it kind of stayed on with it, and hence from digital I moved on to the jewelry division, where part of the e-commerce team, and from there I made my move to the brand marketing. And as of now, I'm part of the Tanishq marketing team, which is the leading jewelry brand. And there I take care of the CRM, which is customer relationship management, and the DigiLocal piece, where the whole emphasis on how do we drive walk-ins into the store and conversions through hyper-local digital campaigns. So Titan as a company is very vast. We have 3 primary divisions: watches, jewelry, eyewear, and I am part of the jewelry division of the Tanishq brand. And even within jewelry, we have multiple jewelry brands like Mia, Zoya, Tanishq, each catering to a different type of target audience, and building products and marketing products, and with all that different targeted audience that we cater to.
Right, right. Quite interesting. I mean, obviously it's such a big brand, and you will have a lot of diversity. But Uday, as you said that we are a retail giant. We tap into the nitty gritties of the market. Here I have a question for you, that nowadays we see any brand, like say a brand called X, which has started with say earphones, and in few days we see that now that brand has diversified into phones, and then they move on into watches, and then after a few days you see their clothes in the market. So just like Titan, every brand wants to be a giant, every brand wants to diversify. So in this times of competition, in these times of so many options, how does Titan maintain the unique brand positioning in the market?
So Pritesh, I don't have an easy answer to that, because we Titan as a brand, as I said, was conceptualized 30 years back, almost not even 30. I mean, almost 35 years back. Like 1987 was the first foundation was led,
Almost 40
and
years,
and that point in time there were no Indian homegrown brand of watches except for HMT. And HMT used to be the competitor back then. And when Titan came on board, and and it tapped into what the customer really wanted. And those times there were no computers, there was no the kind of accessibility we have to knowledge, the kind of accessibility we have to information at this age was purely non-existing 35 years ago. And how did it happen? And it's a very interesting incident I'll tell you, because when I was doing all these market visits, we do, as a marketing team, we are expected to, and we should also do a lot of market visits, because then we understand the pulse of the consumer and customer. So our entire genesis of brand positioning started from what does the consumer want and what is the consumer saying. And Titan is known as a very customer centric company. So our the whole philosophy of how a retail channel works is always boils down to how the customer is catered to. And I think I take really pride in the fact that even like since I'm part of the Tanishq division, Tanishq brand, so even now when you walk into a Tanishq store, there is a way a customer is treated, greeted, and the relationship is maintained. And it all started with Titan as a watches brand 35 years back. So the brand positioning, so we have a philosophy here that Titan has kind of mastered the art of getting into an unorganized market and organizing it. So back then, watches as a category was a very unorganized. You used to have these multi-brand outlets. We used to keep watches across. There was no Indian homegrown brand of watches. When Titan came, it wanted to find a price positioning which is sweet in that particular target segment. And I'm talking 35 years back when my father was young, was of my age, to be honest. So what was the psychological tics that used to make people buy a certain watch? So, and 30 years later, because as your demographic evolves, your needs also evolves, your wants also evolves. So back then, Titan as a brand tapped into that unorganized market of watches and organized it by creating a homegrown brand. And Titan was not just a private setup by Tata, it was done in collaboration with TITCO, which is Tamil Nadu government. So there was an equal participation from the government as well as from our internal, the Tata folks, that we should have a watch brand that is that speaks of India, and that is when the Titan journey started. And and the kind of marketing geniuses that used to run the campaigns that point in time, they came up with signature tunes that now you can understand this is the Titan brand with the whole sonic brand. And then happened, it started with the watches some 30 years back, and gradually, bit by bit, pieces by pieces, they started building this entire brand basis what is the consumer segmentation, what the consumer want. Because then we built a brand called Sonata, which was more targeted at a tier 2 basis, the purchasing parity of the customers back in time, people back in, and not in back those time, even now. So whom does a Titan will appeal to as a brand, whom will Sonata appeal to as a brand? And then came Fast Track. Fast Track was like I recall when Fast Track was was born out of the idea that we need to target a younger consumer segment, because the charter was around Titan appeals to a little more older category, and
Business class.
yeah, I mean back then that
Yeah.
we need to have a little bit more uppity, little bit more a brand, a watches, but that's
yeah.
very funky, that speaks to the
True,
the
absolutely.
the age group of 19. So Fast Track as a brand was launched in way back in early 2000s, where it could speak to the people from the age group of 19 to 25, and the pricing was also done. No watches was
Correct.
more than, maximum price was, I think, was 4,000 or 5,000.
Yes.
And
Even lesser, I
yeah,
think.
and it started from like 600 700 rupees, because उस age group में the people in that age group were college going kids who did not have a higher purchasing parity. But how that brand evolved, because I remember when I used to do market visit, the retail sales officers, the customers sales officers at the various Titan watches, I would tell me that even 35-40-year-old people, men, are asking for Fast Track watches, because that is how the we wanted to position it for a very younger audience, but we found the love came in even from the older audience, because they like the design, they like the chunkiness. And Fast Track at that point in time, the whole idea was about appeal, how you could break certain barriers, because the imagery used to be very shocking. And I'm talking 10-15 years back, when Fast Track used to bring out its advertising campaign. So all these feeds, and the brand also evolved basis the feedback we used to get from our on ground salespeople, what customer used to say. And I think that is the biggest thing, that we always, Titan as a brand, whether it is jewelry, whether it is watches, whether it is eyewear, we always hear what the customer wants, and then we do a lot of research on that, and then we see what is the right price points, what is the right communication strategy, who is the target customer. Once we have cracked the target customer, the brand positioning bit falls into its place.
Great, great, great. By taking all these names and all, you have taken me to way back in time when, I think, as you said, every college going kid had that desire to own a Fast Track. So it was it is still a very, very loved brand. As you said, Titan is known for being customer centric. Uday, you have been with Titan into marketing since almost a decade now. How do you think the marketing has evolved over the years, especially with digital marketing becoming so prominent? I remember Titan ads coming on TVs, newspaper. Very, very clearly remember the tagline for Sonata Tata ki peshkash. It used to be something like that. So it's so well ingrained in our mind. But today we hardly see anybody reading the newspaper. We hardly see anybody watching television. Everybody is into smart TV and into watching OTT and all that. So how has marketing evolved in the past 10 years with as your journey progressed with Titan, and what do you think the future of marketing looks like?
See, I don't know how qualified I am to predict the future of marketing, but I'll just tell you from whatever knowledge I have and whatever experience I have had so far. So initial 4-5 years, I was basically with the category bit, where I was responsible for the online category management. My move into the marketing happened somewhere around 4 years back. And then as you asked about how print and television used to dominate when it came to marketing from a media and PR point of view. Now digital takes a lot of precedence, and it's all lies in the data. 10 15 years, I mean, when I was doing my masters in marketing, I remember, I very categorically remember this when our marketing professor at TAPME Manipal was saying this, that in India the digital penetration of internet penetration is only 15%, and this is around 2012 I'm talking about. And because at back in time there was no geo, your data packs for internet were not as cheap as it is right now. And then suddenly few years later, when the whole boom happened, and everybody had access to cheaper smartphones, everybody had access to cheaper data rates, so everybody with a mobile phone could access, and of course there are pros and cons to that, but that's a different debate altogether. But back then, 15 years back, when at a internet penetration was only 15%, that means only 15% of the population had access to internet, and hence digital was not as big as it could have been, and hence print and TV dominated. We didn't have these your connected TVs, OTT into back then. I mean, not as far as 2010 and 2009. It was a very recent last couple of years development that there's a boom of digital media everywhere, but that was not the case 10 12 years back. So the only way we could reach out to our target segment was through newspaper circulation, was through TV, media and PR, and what all we could do, because then back then even the family setups were also like that. They were more joint than nuclear than it is right now. But now, as we progress further, the internet penetration has increased. There are certain use cases that are, and we found, and we applied that logic to a couple of our campaigns, that we will target the audience for this campaign only through digital and not through print or TV, and it actually gave the return on the ad spend was much higher. Like one collection that we did for jewelry, we only targeted through digitally, and it did wonders. The sell-through rate were very high in the stores, because we knew that the target customer for this kind of a jewelry is something which is very active on digitally. So we would rather promote that on digital media. When I say digital media, I mean through Google, through Meta, through our product ads, through digital films, and through all the Google ad inventory we could make use of, where we find the target audience available. And there is a lot of close communication that happens with all these partner agencies we work with, who tell us that the chunk of your major, then why do you want to do it on print? Because print, over the years the circulation has come down, agreed, but yes, there is a still chunk of audience, the older audience, who are still reading newspapers. So that is there, but we are trying to also optimize the whole marketing costs also, and that is, I think, the need of the hour. So coming back to the latter half of your question, that what is the future, I think there's a lot of optimization needs to be done. Where is your target audience? You capture that share of voice in that particular medium where you have that target audience. So we are gradually and slowly moving away from the approach of once size fit all shoe wala kind of approach, where I will if my audience for this particular campaign is something that is more active on Facebook or Google, or which everyone is nowadays, digitally, then I would target them digitally. If this is an audience which is somewhere, I would who reads newspaper, and there is a lot of data. As I said, 10 years back, the access to data, marketing intelligence, what we speak of, was not as much as it is right now. So we follow that diktat, and wherever is the target audience sitting and engaging with whatever mediums, we are targeting that audience through that channel. And hence,
Great.
that is how we are optimizing our marketing efforts also, and trying to bring down the cost as well.
Great. That's very interesting to know that how such a big brand is operating. How, or I would say, like, what role do you think does data science and AI play in carrying out this entire process, and how useful it is
So,
in marketing?
okay. AI is very new, so I will talk about that a little later. But data science, see, data has been always been there. Earlier, it used to be in the form of big files, numbers. I mean, I remember people who were before me, at Titan, they used to tell back then, they used to go and visit all the trade channel house for watches, for example. Like every shop, every multi-brand outlet, every who used to buy from the distributor, and from the distributor used to buy from us, that whole entire distribution channel. I mean, every single information, like which SKU was sold the most, what type, what is the customer saying. A lot of direct feedbacks from customers who used to come to our own Titan stores and watch showrooms. Their feedback was taken. So data used to be present even back then, but now the crystallization of data has become much easier. We have tools, we have analytical tools, and whole system setup who crunch the data, slice and dice the data the way we want to. Like for example, I know my a particular price band is not increasing with that growth I desire, but a particular other price band of watches is really growing. So what is the reason? So that was very difficult to slice and dice 10, 15 years back, but now we get all these tools, and we have a very robust and a very competent analytics team even within our company, who service all the different brands and all the different divisions, and not just jewelry but watches and eyewear, where they tell what customer, which kind of customer are buying what kind of products under what price band, what has been the growth, what has been the degrowth, and if the growth is happening, is it at par with the region level or at par national level. So now the access is so much that many new type of data also keeps cropping up, and earlier which was not possible. But now, since, as I said, with the whole boom in the whole digital, and now everybody talks about going digital, so digital also gives me a lot of access to data. Like we do a lot of customer profiling, we do a lot of segmentation, which was not as easy before, but now we do, like since I handle CRM, so I can only best explain that from a CRM point of view. So we did a whole intensive exercise of segmenting our entire Tanishq base, like what type of customers we have. Are they more gold buyers? Are they more diamond buyers? Are they wedding buyers? Are they the ones who come to buy a particular type of jewelry only if I run an exchange offer? So there's so much of access to the data now, and so much of work that can be done, that it is possible to derive hypothesis, and then we try to build some model or framework out of it to as much extent possible. सब कुछ नहीं हो पाता है एक बारी में, but whatever little gist we get, and we trying to marry that data with what the retail ground team is saying. See, no matter, then there is another side to don't get lost. One should not get lost in data so much that you end up having analysis paralysis. But first line of truth, source of truth should always what your retail team is saying, was what your customer is saying. And once the data marries to what they are saying anecdotally, then we try to bring out solution for it. Like, if in this particular region, if exchange so exchange is something like we do a lot of gold exchange, and all this while the general perception in customers was that Tanishq only does gold exchange for gold bought from Tanishq, which is not true. We do gold exchange bought from other jewelers also. So is that the perception? And in some region, then we kind of elucidate from the data that the exchange is not firing. We do a lot of research through our research teams and all, and we kind of tallies with that people really are not aware. Then we bring up a campaign that talks only about exchange, and there we give them anecdotal factual data that we have so many people who have been exchanging with us, and so can you by bringing your old gold. And in certain regions where there is enough awareness about exchange, that we do exchange, but they may not be buying it in a very they may not be buying in the capacity they could. So maybe there the problem stating is not awareness. The problem stating is they are not very very keen into the idea of upgrading the design. Then we pitch them, oh, we have such many good designs, why don't you bring your old jewelry and upgrade it to this kind of a better jewelry from Tanishq. And in certain regions, people are just totally wary because they are scared, because they don't want to part away with gold. So there we will not put much of effort, because that's more of a sentiment, and unless sentiment changes across, we can't really no matter how hard we hit the nail with the hammer, it will certain markets will take time to develop and mature. Then we wait for that time when they develop, mature, and then we bang on come back with a offer which is lucrative. But all this comes from data, and all this comes from all whatever conversations we do, whatever market visits we do, whatever insights we get from our retail team, from our franchisees, from our area business managers. And we also go out there, and we a lot of competitor tracking is also done, and I'm sure they also do it for Tanishq. So it's it's like multiple guns needs to fire to bring out one conclusion whether this particular objective will be met by this campaign or not.
Correct. Quite informative, Uday. So your whatever data you collect with the help of your analysis and everything, does that also alter the course of your marketing?
Of course. So right now, we are very data driven. We have become very data driven in last couple of years, and like any other brand and all. Because since now we have access to the data, as I said, we always try to match the data with what the ground team is saying, and most of the time it mirrors what the sentiment is, and our data also speaks of that. So hence there is a lot of dependence on data, and as I said, a lot of slicing and dicing is done, a lot of segmentation, as I was speaking of, for customers. So we kind of bracket our customers, because our customers range from pan India, from different communities and with different proclivities. Some is, as I said, more a diamond buyer compared to one who's a gold buyer. Somebody only wants to buy during wedding. Somebody only wants to buy during occasion, which is high value. So all this data, and data can be infinite. Data can be as much as you want. So there also one needs to really carefully gauge the data, what do you want to pick out of it, and not get too lost in the whole analysis paralysis bit. But with that much of availability, it gives us all marketing decisions, not just marketing, even merchandising decisions, even retail operations decisions come from that data. Like, just to give you an example, that this happened very recently, like from a CRM point of view only. I'm saying that we realized that this particular campaign that we wanted to do pan India, but there were certain regions where it was not firing. So what we did in those regions, we created personalized CRM. How we used personalized CRM, where instead of have a generic communication, we crafted a personalized video. We kind of had personalized attributes of that customer woven into that communication, so that customer feels it's personalized to them, and we ran it only for that region, not for entire. We didn't need to. And how did we could do? Because we had the data. We had the data of the customer's proclivity, what the store they usually go to, what kind of design they bought from us, and we made it a very personalized story which kind of really appealed to them, and we could see a certain uptick in the performance, in the sales for that region where we ran this particular personalized communication. And now what the feed we get from everyone, and not just what I feel with about other brands, are the more personalized your communication is, the more attached the customer would be. Because my primary KRA as somebody who's managing and leading CRM is that how well I'm able to engage my customer on a continual basis. My relationship with the customer should not end just because they have bought the jewelry. Am I targeting them later about how to take care of the jewelry, post-purchase communication? Am I asking them, okay, it's been 3 years since you have bought that, would you want to come and probably give a shot at exchanging and buy a better design, because gold rates are increasing, so obviously they'll get a better value? Or do I tell them, okay, since it's you have bought this earring large, would you want to buy a matching? I mean, this will permutation, and this permutation comment can only come if I have my right data available with me, and a lot of analytics thrown in.
Absolutely. So Uday, you have done your post graduation in marketing, and what you are telling now, it is something which somebody who is a data analyst or a data scientist will be able to provide it to you. How important do you think is for somebody who is a fresher, or who comes with a rich experience like you in marketing, how important it is for them to upskill into data science and AI in the marketing domain?
I think if I have to speak the truth of the current times, it obviously gives you an edge. Like, if I have someone, if we have to hire someone who's a marketing, because back in my days I didn't have AI courses. AI is something was a very recent developments and all. But data science was still existed back then, to be honest. And if somebody who comes with a knowledge of data science, it's easier for a marketer if he knows how to read Excel. I always keep telling people, unless you don't know how to work with Excel, you can't be. Marketing is not just about shooting campaigns and creating
Creative.
brand
Yeah.
personas and all the brand uh, all the all the glamorous bit of marketing, that only that comes in our head, that you're shooting campaigns and getting your mood shots and hobnobbing with all the influencer marketing and all that is just one bit of it. Marketing is about product, price, place, promotion, now people also. So, and if you know how to read data, you are obviously a much better marketer, because you know what to target, whom to target, and how to target. And if these data science courses, and now I see so much of awareness is there, and also initiative how you marry data science with marketing, it obviously gives you an edge, because you know that this particular segment, this is the growth, this is the degrowth, and this kind of and another thing, since I'm talking about segmentation so much, because the more deeper the segmentation, the better is the communication also. Because I know that Pritish, you will not respond to a generic jewelry, but you will respond to a everyday jewelry, earrings less than 50,000, because that's probably you're looking for, because that's how your behavioral data on my website is suggesting, or that is how I have segmented you. So I will not target you with a generic 5 lakh opulent diamond necklace product collection. I will target you with a earring less than 50,000, because that's what you are looking for. And if you know how to read data, and if you know how to, and a lot of data we have is basically our customer data who have purchased with us. So we try to do a lot of slicing and dicing, and also we have to be very cognizant of the fact that we are not kind of being overtly intrusive also, and we are also not trying to really bombard them with only sales, sales, sales as an objective. Marketing works best if you combine psychology with economics, to be honest. And if you know how to read data, if you know how to read your market, which region is growing and which store is growing, and this store is doing well in this particular category, but this is not as good as your national average or your regional average, and there is, so sometimes data give you a lot of, if you can identify a pattern in your data, half of the problem, your problem statement is known, and that is how the objective of marketing is. As a marketing, my main objective, and to be honest, this is what we are told, is to make the life of the RSO in the store as simple as can. And how do I do it? I do it by creating marketing campaigns which nudges the customers to walk into the store and buy jewelry. And if that marketing campaign is reaching the right target audience, I have done my job. And how it reaches the right target audience, if I know who am I targeting, how am I targeting, with what I am targeting, and all this lies in the data. So as a marketer, if you know to read data, and when I say read data, I mean understand numbers, know how to play around when they do hit and try, do some small test concept and see if it works. If it works, then you have a model, a hypothesis, and then you replicate into different regions and different stores. And if it's giving a similar result, then you have a formula at your hand in a way that, okay, this is the right way to go about it and I'll do it. But this approach works when you have your data is not very is very clean, and it's very segmented, and the data at hand is genuine. The source of truth has to be true, and only do hit and trial, you'll come across a particular pattern. But then for that, you need to know how to read that data, and then and a lot of our marketing campaigns and a lot of marketing decisions that we make comes out of what the data is speaking of. So gone are the days where you used to just feel like, nahi, from the gut, okay, we'll do this campaign. No, it no longer happens. Not here or not anywhere, I'm sure, for that matter. Data is the first we go to. In data we trust, and from there we pull out what we want to focus upon, and we create a campaign from that, and then we see the results also after that.
True. Amazing. So we at Learnbay, we have we provide courses into data science and AI for marketing professionals, and we know that the face of marketing has changed over the past few years, and it is always not possible for a fresher who wants to make a career into marketing to get into data science and AI. Then we have professionals who come with many years of experience into marketing, and now they know that if we want to if we are looking for a promotion, if we are looking for a growth, or even if we want to just understand how exactly today's marketing works, we need to upskill ourselves with data science and AI. And Learnbay provides those courses. Learnbay gives data science and AI for professionals who come with an experience, for freshers as well. So how important do you think? How important do you think are institutions like Learnbay who have understood the need of data science and AI into marketing, and they are providing such courses?
I think it's really great because earlier I remember there were not many such platforms around. And if Learnbay is having courses, relevant courses for people, then I think people should give it a shot. As I said, because now everything, data is now tied to everything and not just marketing, whether it's merchandising, retail,
Exactly.
everywhere. So the better, the more the person, who visualizes or envisages a career either in marketing or any other field, if they know how to read data, and if the courses available at Learnbay can help them, then I think they should really make use of it. And now, because there's a lot of AI chatter is also happening, and we also in marketing have kind of started warming up to it, that it helps, it makes our job also a tad easier. But at the same time, you can't really let go of a what a human sentient being would do compared to an AI chatbot. But if you know how to work around, if you understand what prompt engineering is, command, for the, whether all the open AI, all the AI tools that we have at Bay, then it makes life a little bit easier. So you don't have to run around a multitude of people for getting your copies done, or getting the entire template done. Now it is already made available through you, available for you. So what I see, these courses will also help in probably saving time. And if you save time, then probably you'll be able to put that effort more into the whole strategy part of the whole piece that you want to get into. Like now
Correct.
we work with Gen AI, tools and all for creating our. So how it helps me save time, because I don't have to wait for an agency to create a whole template for me and write a whole communication. If I know how to, it's called prompt engineering. I think
Yes.
only you need to know what to create the right prompts, only then. But at the end of the day, you need to have a manual intervention to go through it. I mean, the last guard, should not be an AI bot also, but you as a human being who's giving that, the buck should stop at your table at eventually. So these tools really help, and you should have a knowledge of this. But eventually, it's you as a person. I mean, you need to understand, because I don't know how well an AI tool will be able to understand the brand Tanishq and the communication we craft. But if I'm able to engineer a template or communication, but eventually I only will have to approve it. So that thing will not go away ever, but it will help me save time in chasing multiple agency to get all these templates, creative communications crafted. But if I have a knowledge of these tools, and I can craft something, it will save me time, it will save my energy. And probably sometimes, we also get a little jaded in our way of thinking and crafting. These tools sometimes help us in giving a little fresh approach, but eventually the last call has to be you as a human. I mean, as a like a manual intervention, whether this is acceptable or not. So I
Correct.
personally believe there has to be a balance in that approach on leveraging AI further into any sort of career domain.
Correct. Correct. Great. So there, this was very, very insightful. I think also because I've repeated this earlier as well. You are representing a brand which everybody knows. It doesn't need any introduction, and to understand that how this brand works was very insightful. It was very helpful, and it was very, very interesting as well. So. Uday, thank you so much for giving your time. Thank you so much for all the insights and information that you shared with us. I'm sure that all our listeners who are, budding marketeers, or who are planning to get into marketing, because again, marketing is one of the most creative and a very, very interesting field where the work doesn't get mundane. It's always something new coming up every day. So I hope all of them, get inspiration. And thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks, British. My pleasure.
So, my dearest listeners, this was Uday Sharma, who leads the CRM and DigiLocal at Titan since almost a decade in at Titan. I hope this information was insightful and useful for all of you. all those future budding marketeers who are planning to get into the marketing domain with any brand or with any organization, you must understand that data science and AI is the future. Data science and AI is the present. And as Uday said, you have to take the last call. But if you take the help of data science and AI, it makes your job easier. You can utilize your energy into being more creative and into thinking about different initiatives that will help your brand to excel and reach out to the masses. So this was Uday Sharma with us. Until we meet next, keep watching, keep learning, and subscribe to Learnbay. Thank you so much.